Well, welcome to the Bike Racing Without Mercy training vlog. Building a base on a time budget, as have I during a working week. And I guess many of you do too, what with work, family and other commitments. So today, we're going to explore the 3 training sessions that Coach Laverack set for me to build my tempo base on a time budget. Just 4.5 hours on the bike in a working week, a little bit longer at the weekend if you've got time. And as you're going to see, it's not just about grinding out tempo. Nice blocks of tempo. It's much more challenging and absorbing than that. Ed is a master for both making it interesting, fun, challenging and effective. So here is the 4th block of 10 minutes tempo into 40-20s, 4 times 40-20s. It's the 4th and final block, and as you can see, it ain't easy. .20 seconds recovery, and then we go again. Now this week I had 2 full rest days as is usual, Monday and Thursday. So we're going to wind back in time to Tuesday to show the first of the sessions that Ed set to open up the legs and the lungs. Wowee, it is very, very cold. The snow may not be settling, but I am pretty fortunate to be working, I guess, from home today. Don't much fancy slogging outdoors in that. Anyway, the What Bike beckons. Zwift is fired up. And if we go, let's select a training area. TikTok is always good. And if we go into the training, there we go. Zone 3 with bursts. There's a little Training Peaks custom workout setting where Ed uploads the Training Peaks, gets downloaded here into Zwift. And you can see that does look pretty challenging. 2 20-minute blocks there. What are the green at? 50 seconds of 227. Let's see if we can, and 10 seconds of 383. Repeat for 20 minutes. A little recovery for 5 minutes and then go again. Building a base, Ed Laverack style. Just about to start the first block of 20. We go in with 50 seconds of 295 watts. And then we start the 20-minute block. And combining tempo and surges is so Ed Laverack. And I think this is a bit of a confidence builder he's scheduled for me, with just the 10-second surges in order to open up the legs, the lungs and the heart and prepare me for tomorrow's training, where we're revisiting one of my favourites. So I know it's going to be super difficult. But I do love this undulating style of training. It is much more interesting and absorbing than just a big block of tempo. Here we go. 10-second surge. Now 225. This is going to be a tough old block of 20. Heart rate is higher than it would have been pre-operation. 168, look at it. Got to really focus on taking in the oxygen and expelling the CO2. I'm staying seated for the bursts. It does recommend standing. We're trying to minimise the pressure on the abdominal area. Here we go. Yeah, feels good. I'm probably going to go straight into the second block. If I go to 5 minutes recovery, my heart rate is ebbing and flowing very nicely with the surges. I'm also just doing one gear change up and hitting the required cadence of 110 on the 10-second efforts. And one gear change down, lag with the resistance adjusting, and settle back at tempo. So I'll fast forward in about 30 seconds straight to number 1 of 20 in block 2. So here we go. Whoops. Bit over the power range there. I'll report back in a bit. This is good. Feeling good still. It's very challenging, but quite doable as well. And very uplifting. Number 19 coming any second now. Looking for a nice strong finish. Able to just get my head down and absolutely monster it. That's the beauty of indoor training. All I've got to focus on is the power. No balance, steering, braking, or dangers. Changing up one gear now. Here we go, any second. Now, just a bit before the marker. Back to the transition. Great training, Ed. Good for the confidence and the mind. So as you can see, Tuesday's session set me up beautifully for Wednesdays, where we're going to do a compare and contrast. See how much my endurance with 1 minute surges deteriorated due to 10 days off the bike post-op. Just in the warm-up to the first real intense training session that I'm going to undertake post-operation. It's a rinse and repeat of the one I love so much. Tempo with 1 minute surges. Tempo at 220 watts for 2 minutes, 1 minute surges, aiming for 400. That could well be, well, I think that will be aspirational. But just warming up first with the single leg drills here. Feels good. Focus on nice circular pedaling stroke. Even push down and pull back. Got 15 minutes tempo or upper zone 2, lower zone 3 before we hit 30 minutes of tempo with surge. Can definitely feel the benefit of these single leg drills. Really emphasizes the mind muscle connection. You can feel the hamstring warming up beautifully. because you really got to focus on the pullback. I won't show a ton of the tempo of surge because I've shown it so much in the past, but we will do a compare and contrast in terms of power, that kind of thing, and I'll show you how I feel on the first and last. Now for the tempo, it's our 15 minutes tempo before we hit the 30-minute block. I pull back. About 11 seconds away from the first surge for 60 seconds. Let's see if 400 watts is even on the card for 60. Feels good so far. And if you like the video and the channel, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe if you haven't. I'd be super grateful. But it's going to be an emotional morning, that's for sure. I'll report back towards the end. 20 seconds away from the 10th and final surge. I've been in the power range throughout, well, up until the 9th. Well, I've drifted 2 or 3% below. Having to dig very deep. Here we go. Now, super hard. Lactic acid is exquisite. Transition. That is horrid, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Let's see how the heart rate recovers. So that is a nice piece of science. I'll come back to just how much top end fitness I've lost over the course of 2 weeks, or just over 2 weeks, shortly. But that's just shy of 10 minutes, I guess, at 400 watts or more. And added to the 40 10-second sprints, which were on average over 400. That's very nice intensity to be banking. There we go. And you can see nice even quality of the surges. But gradually the tempo I was putting down in the 2 minutes in between was trending down from like 135 to about 120 to 125, and a little bit lower immediately after the surge, and that compares to probably 225 to 240 Well, 2:25 to 2:35, just before I went to hospital. Anyway, we'll look at the data in Training Peaks in a second. Well, it'd be something of an understatement to say I'm both surprised, but also super pleased to have made it through that 30-minute block of tempo with surges. For me personally, it's something of, I guess, a benchmark training session, an amazing measure of both physical fitness, but also mental fortitude, combining obviously the tempo and the top end anaerobic power. Now, Boba Fett was equally surprised, and he's made his way over from the shelf to share in the moment. And in the name of science, we're going to compare today's training session with exactly the same one that I completed the day before I went into hospital for the operation 15 days ago. So turning to the stats on Training Peak, I've blocked out here the 30 minutes, and we'll show the same from 15 days ago. Average power 283 watts, normalized power 313 watts. And that compares to average power 289 watts and normalized power 316 watts 15 days ago, in exactly the same session, as I say. So that's only really a 1 to 2% reduction in power for that training session, and that's a lot less, I guess, than I was expecting. So super encouraging. Although I should kind of contextualize that a little bit to say that ahead of going into hospital, I'd had 5 very hard days of racing and also some training. I was kind of making the most of what I thought was my last flourish of fitness for quite a long time. And also I was talking a little bit more to the camera, so probably the kind of fitness reduction would be more in, I guess, the 3 to 4% range overall. But anyway, irrespective of that, hopefully it's not a flash in the pan, and it's evidence that over the course of 15 days off the bike, 10 days off the bike and 15 days really in total before I've had a hard training session, you don't lose your tempo fitness, and you quite quickly regain your top end power. Well, fingers crossed that remains the case. First little trip out in 15 days. It's not a big trip, but there's a nice little treat inside here. And having had such a stressful session on Wednesday, I took a full rest day Thursday to lock in the games with some R&R. Here we go, final 40-second sprint. Focusing on a nice circular pedaling motion, deep breaths in of oxygen, jaw hanging open. There's a cool down. That is a really good training. Very doable, but very exhilarating. I decided to cut the recoveries short from 5 minutes to 2.5 and at about 200 watts rather than 160. And I was a little bit above the power range during the 20-second recoveries on a 40-20. Good indication of fitness continuing to build. I'll report back in a second. And as you can see, a very nice training here. Really enjoyed it. Once again, fasted on just the amino acids and a tiny little bit of cold coffee. I was at or above the power range throughout, a tiny little bit above in all honesty. As I say, cut short the recoveries from 5 minutes to 2.5, and you can see the heart rate was undulating beautifully with a varying intensity. It's a really nice way to train, and certainly prior to the operation my tempo had improved, as had actually my threshold, quite dramatically. So pretty sure this is going to be effective. Really looking forward to seeing how the tempo and endurance at tempo builds over the coming weeks. Tomorrow I'm going to have a slightly longer ride. It's going to be a group ride on Zwift, and then looking forward once again to a chat lap, a giant vertical chat lap up Von 2 or Von Top as they call it, hopefully with many of you. So thanks very much. Time to crack on with the post-ride nutrition. Well, post-ride nutrition is on my mind. And look what we have here, courtesy of my mum, the lovely Rachel. The amaretti biscotti with a raspberry in the middle, beautifully soft in the middle, melt in your mouth, but crunchy on the outside. But there's a decision to be made, because quite a number of you have been saying you've been missing the M&S Ice Spice buns. Hey Rui, and so look what is vying for the attention also. Decisions, decisions, decisions. But fear not, Rui, I've got your back. Salut. Salut? That's not the right word. Bon appetit.